right, welcome back to TobattoVision, and we are going to rank the smells of Leatherface in this video. And as you can see, I'm going to move myself up a little bit here so you can see all the results, at least most of them. There's all the Leatherface interpretations from the series. Technically, in Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is right here on the left, the bottom left right there, he technically wears two masks in the film, but he really wears the same outfit, so I really don't think he's going to smell differently comparatively to what he does in the rest of the film. So, with that said, let's dive in. Let's dive into the smells, ranking the smells of Leatherface. So we have absolutely disgusting, real nasty, pretty gross, very ripe, moderately ripe, a little cheesy, and not too bad. With absolutely disgusting being the worst, and not too bad being the least offensive. So let's start with the original film with the killing mask and that killing getup he wears. I'm going to say that Leatherface probably smells really, really nasty. Probably like, you know, BO, rotting meat, mold, old decomposition. I'm going to put the killing mask Leatherface in that hot Texas sun in absolutely disgusting. For sure. As far as the second mask he wears in the movie, in the second getup, he's wearing the old lady outfit, the apron with the old lady mask. I'm going to put that in pretty gross because I feel like it smells slightly better. Are you getting tired? Oh, yeah. I feel like it smells slightly better than the killing mask getup. I don't think he took a shower. They probably don't even have running water in that house, at least the proper kind of plumbing to take showers. But I think he probably added perfume. You probably smell a bit of that powdered makeup on him and stuff. So he probably still smells like he did in the killing mask, the absolutely disgusting choice from earlier, but with a layer of perfume and makeup added. So I think it's probably less disgusting. It's probably less than nasty. I think it's probably pretty gross, but still pretty gnarly. But pretty gross is where I would put that. The next, I want to put we have the pretty lady mask in that suit. I'm going to put that in absolutely disgusting because, you know, that suit hasn't been washed. He's been sweating in it for months, God knows how long. That mask looks pretty ripe. He's been applying makeup to it over and over again, sweating in that hot suit. I mean, he probably smells worse in that than he does in his daytime killing costume. I would think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. But yeah. Let's move on to part 2. In the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, 1986, he's wearing the tuxedo. He's got his main killing mask on. He's gnarly. He's gross. But I feel like this Leatherface in that movie, since, you know, he's got a crush on Stretch, he seems a little bit more composed than he was in the first film. A little bit less unhinged in certain ways. He's sort of like the rebellious teenager now versus the incessant toddler he was in the first film, right? I feel like this Leatherface might wear deodorant, like he might wear Brute. He might wear a stick of Brute. He might wear Smart, what is it called, Smart Ball deodorant, or Smart Stick, excuse me, Smart Stick deodorant. And I feel like he probably puts a little dash of Brute cologne on his tuxedo. So I still think he smells pretty ripe, but I don't think he smells gross in that movie. The mask is already dried and tanned. So I think he probably smells very ripe. Not gross, not nasty, but ripe. That seems proper to me. Now, when you get to part 3, things get a little different. I think that version is sweaty, gross. He's been wearing the same clothes for months. He's wearing a fresh mask, so you don't really smell decomposition yet, but you smell bad BO. You smell all kinds of gnarly stuff. He's walking through the woods. He's in the swamps. He's in the desert. It's gnarly. Do I think it's as gross as the choices we already have in the absolutely disgusting bracket? No, but I think he smells way grosser than the grandma getup. So with that said, I'm going to put Chainsaw 3 Leatherface in real nasty. I think he belongs there. That makes sense to me. Moving on to the first outfit and mask we see in the new generation. He's wearing an old leathery mask. It's probably not decomposing anymore. It seems pretty tanned. He's wearing a gnarly apron, some camo jacket, pants, boots. He hasn't showered in a long time, I don't think. I think I'm going to put him in probably moderately ripe. No, definitely very ripe. Very ripe is where he belongs. But unlike the Leatherface from Part 2, who's also in Very Ripe, this Leatherface doesn't really have cologne to back him up. He just smells like onions. So that's where he lives at, I believe. The second getup he has in that movie, I'm going to go with the old lady mask, which also belongs in Very Ripe, because this one might have the hint. No, he's going to go in pretty gross, because he smells how he did earlier, but now he's covered with makeup and a little dash of perfume, so he smells slightly better, but that's not really saying much. So that's where he lives. Next up, we're going to have the pretty lady Leatherface from that movie, where I think he's probably either cloth washed or showered or something, but at least, he's in the full drag getup. I'm going to say he's probably not too bad, because I feel like this pretty lady Leatherface is cleanish, covered in makeup, covered head to toe in perfume, I'm sure. So I think that's probably the least offensive Leatherface. Now, he might be wearing so much perfume that it really, makes you want to run the opposite way, but I think as far as gross smells go, he's probably the least offensive in this form. That's what I think. TCM 2003. I'm going to say this guy is definitely absolutely disgusting, in the same reason that the 1974 version of the Killing Mask is absolutely disgusting. Running around in those hot clothes all day, the boots, the old rotten mask, he's sweaty, he's not taking showers. It's just, who knows if he's even wiping himself after he goes to the bathroom. I mean, who knows, but this one is dirty, nasty, rotten, gross. Absolutely top tier disgusting. The same with the 2006 dog mask version. As gross, if not grosser, than the 2003 version. I mean, he's gnarly. Look at this guy. He's sweatier, he's grosser, he's angrier, he's pimplier. He's probably covered in those pimples head to toe. So yeah, he's pretty gnarly. And the same goes with the Kemper mask version, because it's just a switch of the mask. He might smell a little bit less offensive because he's wearing a fresh mask, not this rotten abomination from the first act of the film, but still absolutely disgusting. That apron smell does not lie, I tell you. The same with the second mask version from the prequel. He smells just as gnarly as he did with the dog mask, albeit slightly less offensive because it's a fresh mask, not that rotten dog mask. But still, these two most recent options are still nastier than the real nasty option. I think they still smell worse than the Part 3 Leatherface, in my humble opinion. Next, we have 3D Leatherface. I'm going to count both masks here, because he wears the first mask in the film was an old mask. It looks pretty dried and tanned, so the mask is not going to have a lot of smell to it. And the second mask he wears is a fresh mask, so it too is not going to have a lot of smell here. That's my logic to it. But he's wearing the same outfit for the whole movie. He might change his tie later in the film, but I'm pretty sure he's wearing the same outfit for the whole movie, the whole runtime. So with that said, I'm going to put this guy in pretty gross, because I feel like he's living in an AC-controlled house. It's a nice house. He's living in the basement, but I feel like there's still air conditioner, maybe even down there. It seems pretty cold and cool and dry, not too damp. I feel like he's really taken on the smells of the area, so he smells like a wine cellar, like wood, cherry wood, maybe some must, stuff like that, but not necessarily onions or rotting meat and stuff like that. So pretty gross still, a bit of BO there, but I think pretty gross is where he lives. He doesn't live in Very Ripe. No, it's a lie. This guy totally lives in Moderately Ripe. Maybe even a little cheesy. I'll keep him Moderately Ripe because he's been in the same clothes for God knows how long, but he smells less bad than these two guys above him. So Moderately Ripe, is where this guy belongs. Leatherface, as seen in Leatherface 2017, is not really Leatherface yet, but he's been through an entire road trip. He's been through the woods, through car chases, getting his face half burned out, killing people in the basement, making masks, all kind of stuff. So he's sweaty, nasty, unshowered, unkempt, unclean for God knows how long. He was in an asylum. I'm going to say he probably smells pretty rank. I think he's probably pretty gross by the time that movie concludes, for sure. And last but not least, we have Leatherface as seen in Texas Chainsaw 2022. This guy is disgusting, unshowered in the same way the 1974 film is, albeit 50 years later. He's going in absolutely disgusting, for sure. No explanation needed, I don't think. He's in the hot Texas sun. He's like 75, 80 years old. He hasn't showered in God knows how long. He's wearing a mask made of human skin, albeit a fresh mask. His teeth are gnarly. His beard's gnarly. I mean, he's wearing old clothes. He's nasty. He is nasty. So, with that said, let's rack him up from the most offensive to the least offensive. And the most offensive out of these top tier, I think, the most offensive, I think, is the 2006 prequel. I think he's followed by the 74 film. No, followed by the Pretty Lady, 74, 2003. The 2022 version is going to go probably... No, you know what? The 2022 version smells the worst. The Kemper mask and the mask from the other prequel, the second mask from the prequel. Probably this order. There we go. That's how that goes. Followed by Leatherface 3, Pretty Lady, this. Followed by Part 2, Part 4, 3D, and Pretty Lady from New Generation. So there we have it. The worst offensive smell, 2022, followed by Dog Mask, followed by Second Mask in the prequel, Pretty Lady, Killing Mask, 2003 costume, Kemper costume, Part 3, Grandma Mask, secondary Grandma Mask from the New Generation, the 2017 Leatherface getup, Part 2, Killing Mask from New Generation, Killing Mask getup from 3D, Pretty Lady from New Generation. From worst to least offensive, there's the Ranking the Smells of Leatherface video on TobattoVision. Let me know in the comments where you guys would rank the smells of every character, every interpretation of Leatherface, What would be your worst and least worst offensive Leatherface smells? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.